Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Eagles in Isolation, brought to you by AGL, the energy powering the Eagles. I'll be your host, Will Schofield, today from an isolated area which is known as my home. We're joined today by the versatile and well-travelled Tom Hickey. How are you, mate?
Thanks for having me, mate. Just in my lounge room here.
How are you finding isolation in the Hickey household? How's the transfer been from normal life to what you're living right now?
Scarily not too different. We're kind of homebodies as it is, and we got a 7-month-old little boy, Lou. So just been spending heaps of time at home and going for walks in the afternoon. And yeah, it's been not too bad. It's good to still get out and train and run with the boy, like run with Cal Jamison is my partner. So I've been running with him, but it's been good. I've get to spend heaps of time with my son. I've been pretty much a full-time dad since he's been born, with the off-season and then pre-season, and I only got to play one game. So it's been good to spend heaps of time with him. He's a turbo though.
I'm hoping, well, does he get that from you or his mother, the turboness?
I don't know, probably both. He's gotten way better now that he can stand and stuff. He used to get so frustrated and just scream, but he doesn't stop chatting and he doesn't sleep. So isolation's been good. Been long days from about 5 till 10, so been good.
That's good, mate. Now, you spoke about the one game that you played in 2020. It was your 100th AFL game, breaching 3 different footy clubs. How was your 100th game at AFL level? Can you give me some highlights, some lowlights, and some memories, please?
Yeah, so almost went statless, which would have been pretty fun. But I don't even think I was meant to be on the field for the last 2 minutes, but Nick came on.
So tell me what happened there. You didn't have a touch for the entire game. How long was left?
So there's about 2 minutes left. And I grabbed it out of the ruck early in the game, but didn't quite dispose of it correctly, I don't think. So I kind of knew. It was about the third quarter and I was open for about 35 minutes, it felt like. And Dom Sheeder refused to kick me the ball. And I had to go at him afterwards. And he said, "Look, mate, sorry, I had too many options." I said, "That's all right, mate. I'm coming to terms with it. I may not touch it today, so don't worry about it." I knew I wasn't going to play heaps of game time with the restricted minutes, so I came off. Thought that was it. Had a little laugh with the boys that, sorry, but bugger, I don't reckon I've touched it. But that's all right. I'm just happy to be out here. You know, it was an awesome experience, like a weird experience, but love sort of being able to do it. And then Nick came off with about 2.5 minutes to go, and he goes, "Reggie, like, you should at least finish the game. It's your 100th, mate. At least finish it off." And I was like, "Thanks, mate. Haven't touched it. Cheers." Ran on. And then we've kicked a goal and we've gone into the centre bounce, and a lovely member of the crowd, you, Will, yelled out to...
The crowd.
Yelled out to Jets, "Hey, Jets, give Reg the ball. He hasn't had a kick yet." And I'm standing at the centre bounce, so I've given you a little thumbs up because I was well aware. Big Max Gorn comes around and goes, "Mate, have you not had a kick?" I said, "Mate, not that I haven't had a kick. I don't think I've touched it." And he's like, "Oh, true." I'm like, "You wouldn't give me one, would you?" He's like, "Nah." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool, thanks." And luckily grabbed it out of the ruck in the centre bounce, thought I was going to trip over, willed myself to keep my feet, kicked the ball, and then turned around and celebrated to you, just to let you know that I was pretty happy with it. So highlight was, that was probably the first time I've ever celebrated getting a touch, and there's still 2.5 minutes left. And then, geez, I went on a bit of 3, I ended up with 4, I think, in the last 2 minutes. So, geez, for the game went for another 20 minutes, I got at 30.
Oh, mate, it's the most outrageous story because from my point of view, I was an emergency. I was sitting in the crowd, and I thought I'd bring a bit of atmosphere for the boys. So I was having a bit of a chirp most of the game, and we were following the stats and saw you hadn't had any touches, and I was able to yell from the crowd to you in the ruck contest, "You haven't had a touch." And you then had a conversation with Max Gorn about that, and then you jumped up and took it off him in the ruck, mate. It was one of the most absurd stories, and I guess it highlights how absurd kind of times are in footy at the moment. Now, I guess moving on a little bit and back on what I was speaking about, you've played at 3 different clubs. How has that, I guess, how's your perspective about the AFL from the view of, 3 different places, 3 different states?
I think, it's been something that I've been really fortunate to play in a fledgling club, Gold Coast. It was our very first year, and we got pumps at it every week. But there was sort of a big group of kids under 20, so we kind of didn't. It was really interesting to be a part of a club where there was like 20 first year players, and we just sort of had to learn as we were going. And being in a town like the Gold Coast where like everyone knew Carmichael Hunt, no one knew Gary Ablett, and it was pretty crazy. And then to go down to St Kilda to a club with such rich history, 140 years, albeit only one flag, it was still, there was like just so much culture and so much history there that you could go speak to members that have been members of 70 years and stuff like that. And it was insane. And then to come here to such a big club with so many fans and play in front of big crowds and with so much success behind it, it's been really interesting to sort of see the progression and just see how clubs take it. And, like footy can be such a fun thing and can also be not such a fun thing when you're losing every week. And I've won a few spoons, haven't won a flag, but I know what it's like to win a couple of spoons. And footy can just be so dictated by how you're going as a team. And so it's definitely taught me not to underestimate and undervalue winning. I don't think I've ever not celebrated a win. I haven't played too many, so until I got here. So it's been awesome. It's been really good to sort of see how different clubs operate and just be part of it.
That's good, mate. I've got 2 more before we finish. I moved on too quickly from the 100th game. Now, usually with a 100th game, you'd potentially run out of the banner holding a child with the crowd going wild, but obviously with no crowd and not being able to bring, people within 1.5 metres of you, you weren't able to do that. Did you compensate that inability to run through the banner in any way?
Yeah, mate. I think it's pretty well publicised that my wife made a little banner through the hallway, and we got Lou dressed up in a little West Coast gear, and we've actually got a keyboard from the 90s. Don't know if you remember them, or early 2000s, where you can sort of change percussion or put a bit of background music. And one of the features is a crowd applauding. So Chloe plugged it in. I ran through the banner, and she had the crowd going. It was awesome. The next door neighbours made a little banner as well. There's Oscar and Willow, the 2 next door neighbours, they're 3 and 1. They made Tom 16 and put glitter on it, and it was awesome. It was funny, and it was I don't know if too many people get to do that, so I was pretty lucky in the sense that I got that on.
Sounds like it's better than the real thing, I think. Now let's finish with that hat you're wearing. I like it. Where do I get one?
Yeah, mate. It's just there's a local Instagram page just fledgling called Neat Animal Hat. So just a couple of animals on nice corduroy hats. So they're building up. A couple of mates of mine have working in the background to get it, and they're probably going to launch once all this thing sort of settles down and everyone gets money again.
Sounds good, mate. I'm going to go and buy one right now. So thank you very much for joining us on Eagles in Isolation, brought to us by AGL, the energy that powers the Eagles. Thanks for your time, mate.
Thanks for having me, mate.